Okay, now we're going to talk about living clean in a toxic world. This is going to go away from food right now. We're going to talk about your environment because there are certain things that you're exposing yourself to every day that can actually make you gain weight. Not foods, but chemicals and toxins and how they affect your hormones. Now, the problem we have in this world is we celebrate bad food. It's my birthday. What do I have? A cake. You don't have a carrot. You don't have celery. You have a cake. I graduate college. We're going to go out drinking. You know what? I want to impress this gal I want to go out with. I'm going to take it to a fancy dinner. Okay. So what do? We make food the focus of our celebrations almost always. Have you ever been to a celebration where there's no food? No. You ever been to a unhappy event where there's no food? How about a funeral? No. We have a repast, we call it. I don't know what you call it in the South, but in the North, we call it a repast. And you take the people from the funeral out to a restaurant and buy them all dinner. It's hard when you do that. When you're like, my mom passed, I had to take everybody to a repast. I wanted to go home and cry. I didn't want to go out to dinner. So we celebrate food in weird ways. And we're bombarded with these bad chemicals every single day. So I want you to change how you celebrate. We're going to talk about this again a little later on. But instead of celebrating with food, celebrate with an experience. That's what I want you to understand. That, you know what? I graduated college. I should go to a play. It's my birthday. Let's go to a concert. I want to take you out on a date. Let's go for a hike. So experiences can replace food. And when you do that, life becomes a lot more fun too, because you don't remember the events. If I said to you, what did you get for Christmas 4 years ago? Probably can't remember a word of it, right? Now tell me about your best Christmas ever. It's probably not going to involve food. It's going to involve an event, walking through the snow with someone you care about, opening presents with grandma. Those are the things that you remember. You don't remember what you made for dinner. I remember making raviolis with my father. I don't remember eating them. So events, experience over consumption. That's what I want you to start putting into your life. Now, I want to talk about the consequences of toxins and how to clean up your environment to clean up your health and your weight. So number one, and this is the most important thing I'll ever teach you when it comes to losing weight, get the bad food out of the house. If you have alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, cheeses, get them out of the house. Because if they're in the house, you're going to eat them. I know you are. Because when I open my refrigerator, my mother used to say, what are you, dancing in front of the refrigerator again? I'd open the refrigerator. What can I eat that's quick, that's easy, that's tasty, that's going to get me high? Well, cookies, cakes, donuts, brownies. Celery doesn't. But if I only have celery in the house, oh, hell, I'll eat the celery. So get the bad food out of the house. I want you to unpack your pantry, unpack your refrigerator. And if you get those bad foods out of the house, you only have good foods. If you went to my house right now, you would notice on the counter a myriad of different types of fruits. If you look at my freezer, I have different types of frozen fruits. So if I need something as a snack, fine, I'll have the tangerine. Fine, I'll have the grapefruit. But if I had brownies in there, I'd be really tempted to eat the brownies. So get the bad food out of the house. Your environment is a huge part of your health. Now, there's a term that came about recently. Dr. Bruce Lipton kind of made it popular. It's called epigenetics. Epigenetics are not your genetics. It's the things outside your life that affect your genetics. Let's assume my father had diabetes. He didn't. My father had diabetes. Well, I have a genetic predisposition to diabetes. However, what about the epigenetics? What influences the fact that I'm going to get diabetes or not? Could be my environment, could be my food, could be people I grew up with, could be the people I hang out with, could be where I shop. So epigenetics is environmental. So I want you to start thinking about your environment and how to clean it up. So I want to talk now about something called endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors are chemicals that interfere with your hormones. And endocrine disruptors can be natural, they could be man-made, and they're found everywhere. They're found in food, cosmetics, plastic water bottles. They're everywhere. So I want to quickly go through some of these endocrine disruptors because they are affecting how your body functions and also how you lose weight. One of them is bisphenol A, BPA. Now, BPA, most common place you're going to find it's in certain plastics, but it's also lining a lot of cans. So cans have this nonstick coating a lot of times so that the food slides out, and we use bisphenol A in there. Bisphenol A can affect your hormones. We also can get it from things like cash register receipts, credit card receipts. So if you don't have to take a cash register receipt, you don't have to take a credit card receipt, don't do it. Because there are chemicals in there that you can touch and get absorbed into your body. Now, it tricks your body into thinking that it's estrogen. Estrogen is a growth hormone. Estrogen makes you grow. If you're done growing tall, you grow wide. It's been linked to growth of breast cancer cells. It's been associated with obesity, heart disease, early puberty onset. So how do we avoid it? Number one, of course, stay away from cash register receipts. Number two, try to stay away from canned foods. Now, sometimes canned foods will even say BPA free, bisphenol A free. But the sneaky part is that they can use something called bisphenol S, which is similar to bisphenol A, but it's not bisphenol A. So we can say it's not bisphenol A, it is bisphenol A free. So try to use less canned foods if you can. Number two, avoid plastics, especially if the plastic has the recycling little triangle on the bottom with a number 7 in it. There's a lot of bad. They're all bad, but stay away from them all. In fact, I was talking the other day about doing a whole radio show on all the plastics that are bad for you. And once I did the research on it, they're all bad for you. So the answer is try not to use plastic or use it as little as possible. Certainly, don't ever use plastic around something hot. So don't ever, please, put plastic in a microwave. Don't put plastic wrap on something and put it in a microwave. Don't use your microwave. But if you do, never, under any circumstances, no type of plastic can go into the microwave because it's going to melt just a little bit and get those chemicals into your body, which can affect your genetics and also cause you to gain weight in many cases. So stay away from the BPA if you can. Well, I want to talk about dioxins. They've been linked to a number of diseases, low sperm count, psychomotor problems in utero, babies developing improperly. Now, dioxins are all over the American food supply. Factory-produced meat, fish, eggs, butter are the most likely contaminated foods. Another reason, as we come out of this 21-day process and we go into the real world, I want you to try to stay away from the animal products the best you can. If you're going to eat animal products, I wish you wouldn't, but if you're going to eat animal products, organic only. Please, I'm begging you. But I prefer you don't eat them anyway. But it's not just the meat, it's also the chemicals that are in there. So you want to eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables if you can, nuts and seeds, organic whenever possible. Atrazine, it's a common agricultural spray. Try to buy organic whenever possible. And also, I want to talk about something now, too. I want you to consider investing in a whole house water filter. Because what a lot of these chemicals, agricultural chemicals, chemicals from drugs can be processed into water because we recycle our water. We don't really get fresh water all the time. We just keep recycling it. And a lot of times these things are left over. Even though it's pure and drinkable, still low levels of it in many cases. I have a whole house water filter. You probably should too. If you need to know what it is, send me an email. I'll send you the company I use. But the whole house water filter is going to be a key to so many different aspects of your health, including your weight loss. So it's really important to consider that. Phthalates. Phthalates are chemicals, and the most common place you're going to find them are in perfumes, hairsprays, shampoos, anything that has a scent to it. They can really mess with your hormones, lower your sperm count, affect thyroid, and the thyroid, of course, controls metabolism. So avoid plastic food containers and plastic wrap with a number 3 on the bottom of it. Again, they're all bad, so try to avoid plastic at all costs. Cosmetic products, please. Anything you're going to put on your body, make sure it says phthalate free. So there's a lot of chemicals that you're exposing yourself to in the world that I want you to stay away from, not just for weight gain, but for your health. We talked about sperm count. We talked about thyroid. We talked about heart disease. These chemicals are everywhere. And the problem I have, and I've had this problem for 40 years now that I've been considering myself a healthcare practitioner, is people come to me all the time. Dr. Joe, I'm overweight. Dr. Joe, I have high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, thyroid conditions, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, colitis. And I said, what are you doing for it? I'm taking this drug. I'm doing okay. Did anyone ever discuss with you why? So think about this. Why are you overweight? Well, I eat too much. Maybe. Maybe it's chemicals. Maybe it's usually a combination of everything. Maybe it's a thyroid condition. Maybe you have acid reflux. You're not digesting your food properly. Maybe you have irritable bowel syndrome and the body is storing fat because it's afraid it's not getting enough nutrients. Maybe the body's holding on to fat because it's not getting enough nutrients. It's trying to use fat as a reserve tank. So we always want to try to find out why. And when it comes to weight loss, which is the topic today, we want to find out why you're overweight. Well, I'm overweight because my husband he works at a cookie factory and he brings cookies home every day. Okay, so that's the why. What do we do about it? Well, cookies are not allowed in the house anymore. If your husband wants cookies, have him leave them in the car. And lock the car, because otherwise you'll get in there and eat them. I know you will. So get the bad food out of the house. Clean up your environment. It's so important. Clean your house. You feel so much better about yourself in a clean environment. I'm a minimalist. I don't have a lot of stuff in my house. I always laugh if somebody ever broke into my house, the burglars would say, oh, somebody got here before me and stole everything. I have very few things, very few decorations. I'm very practical in what I have. And I like that because I feel very clean and organized when I'm home. So consider cleaning up your environment. Clean out your car. If your car is messy, full of food wrappers and empty soda cans, well, you think, well, one more doesn't matter. And that's one of the problems. Again, I used to be fat. That fat people have is that what's one more cookie? What's the difference? I'm already fat. It's a big difference because you're feeding that addiction. You're feeding that part of the brain. And when you start eating bad foods, exposing yourself to bad chemicals, you have hormone imbalances. And hormone imbalances can affect your mood, can affect how your hunger goes, can affect your weight, can affect your sex drive, can affect your energy level, can affect your exercise capabilities. So stop putting these toxic chemicals into the body that mess with the hormones that have negative side effects. So your exercise for this section, I want you to write down all the toxins you're going to eliminate from your life today. And it's real simple. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, those 7 deadly sins. You're going to stay away from plastics. You're going to stay away from the microwave because the microwave can leach things into there. You're going to get rid of perfumes, hairsprays, deodorants. Get rid of those toxic chemicals. I had a patient come in the other day, and she's like an extended family member of mine. And I did a hair analysis on her, and she had aluminum toxicity. Now, in the old days, you had aluminum pots and pans. If you're a camper, maybe you have aluminum pots and pans that you use for camping. But that's how you expose yourself to aluminum. Modern day, antiperspirants. Antiperspirants have aluminum chlorhydrate. And that was causing her aluminum toxicity because I know her. And I know her lifestyle. She's in her 70s. I know her lifestyle. She's not exposing herself to pots and pans. She's not drinking out of aluminum cans. It was aluminum chlorhydrate. I said, you got to give up your antiperspirant. She goes, well, what am I going to use? I work in a hospital and I like to have dry. I don't want to sweat and smell. So what I do is non-toxic. Again, we went to non-toxic. I take rubbing alcohol and I put in enough tea tree oil, Teatree, tea tree oil. Put in enough tea tree oil so it doesn't smell like alcohol anymore. And I put it in a spray bottle. That's what I use for deodorant. Get out of the shower, spray it on, good for the day. I think maybe once in the past, I don't know, many, many years did it not work. And it was a really hard day. I was sweating a lot. Otherwise, it works fine. So that's a non-toxic way to get it in your body. Had another couple come to me and I did a hair analysis on them, and him and her, husband and wife, had selenium toxicity. Now, a little selenium is good. Too much selenium, bad. Could not figure out where it was coming from. I said, do you use dandruff shampoos? No, I don't. The only way you're going to get selenium is if you eat gallons and gallons of like beef liver. If you're going to get that level of toxicity, it wouldn't be humanly possible to do it. And so we talked 2 or 3 times. I said, I cannot figure out where you're getting selenium. So I called up my other research doctors. Nobody could figure it out. They said the most common thing is dandruff shampoo, selenium sulfide. So finally, after the 3rd or 4th visit, they said, oh, we use this brand. It was a dandruff shampoo, had selenium sulfide in it. So we want to look at your environment and how that's affecting your life as well. Not just your weight, but your overall health. So your homework again, I'm making you write these things down because it's important that you take an action step. And just write down in your journal, what toxins am I going to get out of my house today? Perfumes, hairsprays, deodorants, carpet cleaners, anything that has an artificial smell, new car smell, car fragrances, get them out of the house. They have phthalates, they can affect your hormones, and they can actually prevent you from losing weight. So, got homework, right? Do your homework. We'll move on to the next section.